been 2 years and I haven't told you the truth, and I feel like this video is long overdue. So if you're an entrepreneur or a content creator or a car enthusiast that's trying to start his own shop, and maybe you're feeling a little bit of doubt, or you're struggling, or you're trying to figure out if you're doing it the right way, then this video is for you, because I'm gonna walk through what the last 2 years have felt like for me, which have been absolute chaos with some awesome wins and some definite learning points that I don't know anyone has ever told you about should feel normal or not normal, because honestly, if I don't tell you, I don't know who I'm gonna tell. So if you're new here, I'm AlexMartini. I make car content. I travel the world for global car stories, but you probably know me a little bit more over on MartiniWorks, where we help people modify their car the right way. And over the past 2 years, it's been insane. We have a super dope shop in Appleton. We've got a warehouse in Batavia, Illinois. We've got multiple employees, like a few dozen now. It's been an absolute blessing to see this idea of helping people do things the right way take off in such an awesome, positive, uplifting way. It's actually gotten so cool that I get to tell you, because you'll eventually hear about it, but in July, we're doing a roundup feature. We're going to do a charity give back, and we're gonna be giving back to like different animal shelters using MartiniWorks, which is something that I have just always dreamed of doing with our very own brand, for no other reason than because it's just the right thing to do. And this has been such a cool experience. And as I've been doing all of these things, I've realized that I've kept you in the dark. You see just the part of us traveling for global car stories, which I think is cool, but it's not all me. And as I've looked to the kind of content I used to make versus the content that I make now here, all the stuff that's very community-based has now kind of made its way over into MartiniWorks, which has left AlexMartini just kind of traveling the world and trying to teach you about different cars. But it's made me feel like I haven't done you right. And a lot of that comes down to is the amount of energy that I have left over at the end of every day, which sometimes is not a whole lot, which is one of the first things I'll tell you, is that if you're starting something up, there are people out on the internet that talk about how they do 18-hour days or 20-hour days, or you know, they hustled 7 days a week and they never took a vacation. And those videos are meant to make you feel bad that you're supposed to hustle more, hustle harder, when chances are those people are just probably flipping through their phone for 4 hours a day, and then they're taking a 2-hour lunch and blah, 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 blah. There is no right answer for following your dreams. There is working hard and having discipline, which means dedicating the time that you do give something to give it 110%. But then there's also the reality that you have another life that you have to balance with all of this. And that's what nobody will ever teach you. A lot of times entrepreneurs are single. A lot of times they're divorced executives. A lot of times they complain about how soft everybody is, when the fact of the matter is the world is normal, you're just too hard. And phrasing. And this is one of those things where when you start to grow up or you start to build your business, especially since I did one before all of this, is I learned what happens when you push too hard, when you let it take over everything and when you have no energy left over. Now, the unfortunate consequence is that the energy that you are trying to preserve for maybe your family life or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend is sometimes not where it needs to be. And you have to stay a hold of that, and you have to realize where it is gonna come from. And sometimes, in my opinion, that has come from this channel. I haven't been able to just sit down and talk to you guys about how things are going because I get to work at 6 a.m. and sometimes I get home at 7:30 p.m. And in between that, we're saving up money for IVF, and in between that, we're rescuing cats, and in between that, I'm buying non-running vehicles because I don't understand how to buy an actual functioning car. So be conscious of that. You know, sometimes I tell myself that I feel like I'm a dog that just chases cars sometimes, which is good because we say yes to a lot, but sometimes saying yes to a lot means that you never feel fulfilled and you never feel like you're achieving your goals because you keep moving the goalposts. Every time you say yes to an opportunity, you're moving the goalpost. And you have to be really conscious that when you say yes too many times and you move that goalpost too far out, you end up failing because you never make it to the end. But if you stop saying yes to so many things, chances are you could have won a couple, 2, 3 touchdowns, you know, or whatever analogy that you want to use. But that being said, opportunities are really important. Don't tell me that it's not, because what I can say is that me and you and the 500,000 people that are here and the 250,000 that are over on the other channel, we are properly scaring big brands, and it feels good. There have been so many meetings that I've had over the past 2 or 3 months of suppliers and people in the industry telling me that our competitors are kicking up such a stink about us, which just tells me that we're doing the right stuff. They don't like that we're telling you when things are junk or not junk. They don't like when we're telling you when things are real or not real. They don't like telling us when the reviews are, the product is the same exact product just with a different label. They're hating that. And the resellers are hating that, which tells me that I think we're doing the right thing. That being said, a big learning experience that I've felt is that sometimes sticking out is just a natural part of trying to create your own path, because if you didn't have to stick out, chances are the path already existed. So don't be ashamed to stick out too much. Just remember that you don't have to stick out all the time if you start getting too sensitive to a point where it's starting to hurt you. And that's one of the big things that I've learned is sometimes I have gone too long pretending to be somebody that I'm not. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to tell you this, I love cars, but I am not a mechanic. I try my best with what I know and how I do it. And at 31 or 32 years old, I've come to the terms that I don't think I could tear something apart and put it back together very well ever. And the S2000 is a perfect example of that. I had to bring somebody in to finish the K24 because I just simply didn't have the priority of the time to give it. I'd rather give that to MartiniWorks or MetaMartini or you or travel than to give it to an engine build. And honestly, that's one of the big reasons that I'm talking to you right now, because I could sit and just work on this engine, but I don't want to. I want to tell stories, I want to drive, and I want to race. And if you're out there and you're trying to figure out if what you should do is the right thing to do, a lot of times you need to ask yourself the real question on what is it that you actually are good at and what do you actually care about? Like, do you actually care about building engines, or do you care about what the engine being done is gonna allow you to do? And for me, it's the latter. I would much rather prefer racing and driving and testing cars than wrenching. That's not better or worse. That is just different. And that's one of the big things that I've learned as well, is like my time priority is just completely f***ed up, but just in all the right ways for the most part, because I'm trying to focus on the biggest things that I possibly can. Making a difference in the car community is huge to me. Being able to give back to animals and people that need it are huge to me. Being able to spend time with my wife so that we can go through an IVF treatment together for the second time in Mexico here in July, and maybe even a third time in October, is huge to me. And there are things that I'm not going to be able to do because those other 3 things are really important. But social media kind of does this thing where it's like, if you don't focus on everything and do everything perfect, then that means you suck and you should feel bad. And especially for guys, you should also feel bad because you also need to be supportive and soft, but also firm and leading. You need to tell people what to do, but you need to listen to people and take things in. You need to take charge, but not too much charge. You need to listen, but you need to evoke emotion. You need to be confident, but not egotistical. And it's like, Jesus! What you need to be is a good person that tries their best and understands what they're doing well and what they're not doing well. And what I'm doing well, at least I like to think I am, is trying to make a positive impact. And what I'm not doing well is I'm not telling you enough of the things that I'm learning as I'm building MartiniWorks and as I'm building MetaMartini into this thing that I feel is the right thing that the industry needs and that you may need to hear as somebody who's trying to lead through your own life, right? So the yes but meme is so real in my life right now. You know, it's this, yes, this is really cool, but it's taking a lot of work. And that's okay. And I think the other thing to remind myself, to remind you, to remind me is that sometimes when competitors are complaining, that's okay too. Because if I hear another whisper of a past life competitor talking smack about our brand, that just tells me that we're doing the right thing, that we're this small in the grand sea of things, that if us doing what we're doing is raising that much of a stink, I cannot wait to see what you and I are able to do 10 years from now in terms of actually making the car community a better place to modify their car. And this is the last thing that I learned throughout the whole thing. You know, people telling you no when literally anything is possible in 2026. That said, there's nothing you can't learn and there's nothing you can't do. There is nothing stopping you from making what you want to make happen possible. But it comes with this contingency that I'm learning, which is you have to find a way to remind yourself where you're going and what you learned along the way, which is why I'm making this video. It very much for you, just as much as it is for you as it is for me. And you may not think that this is valuable at all because it very little has to do about cars. The only thing I've told you is that I like to race them versus build them. And the only other thing that I've told you is that MartiniWorks is doing well, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have its issues and problems, you know? And MetaMartini is doing great, that it doesn't have its issues and problems. So I want to tell you something that I'm going to try and do moving forward on this channel with you. Number one, I'm going to try and be as honest as I can about the reality of what I do every day. A lot of car stuff, a lot of traveling, but also a little bit more of the behind the scenes stuff that makes MartiniWorks and Martini really tick. Because for me, that's where I spend my 16-hour days. That's where I spend most of my time. And the content is a really cool byproduct of that, but it's not what I want to be known for the rest of my life. With you, I want you to see what's happening behind the scenes, like Machi, that's over here. You can't hear him. Anyway, I also want to tell you a little bit of a fun story that we're going to be doing with the cars, because you guys and gals know that we have a few different cars. We have the S2000, we have the RX-8, the Ferrari, the Datsun, the S15, and you may not know this yet, but we also have a brand new MX-5 that we're going to be racing with Mazda Motorsports. So what are we gonna do with these cars? Originally, I was planning to take the S2000 and make it a grid life car. We're changing that. We're gonna turn the S2000 into a team track car. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use that car to teach people in the team how to drive, and I wanna film that series. I wanna film that with you guys so you can come along with that. I want anybody that works at MartiniWorks that if they want to learn how to drive or drift or drag race, that they'll be able to do that with somebody from the team that actually knows how. I consider it a company perk. I just think that would be really fun. The MX-5 is gonna be our racing series, and I don't know how we're going to do that quite yet, outside of maybe just bring you along for what it takes to put together an MX-5, because the order list was 277 parts, and we have to put it together, and I just told you that I'm not a mechanic, so I'm very scared. We got an RX-8 for free. That's a new one. I have no clue what to do with that, and I need your help. I can put a build series together, and we can do that. But why? You know, what are we gonna do with this car? RX-8s are historically really unreliable. We have a Renesis in the Pro Formula Mazda. We could do something connecting the two. I could use your help with figuring out where that car lives in this world. Surprisingly enough, the Ferrari still exists, and we're gonna be turning that into a drift car for MartiniWorks, and I'll explain that later in the video. The Datsun is gonna continue to be my little personal nest egg that was the worst investment ever humanly possible, because I love that car, and if you wanna see more of it, you can just let me know. And the S15 is gonna be our team drift car. That's gonna be the car that we teach people how to drift in. It's one of those things that I want to do together with you. I want to talk about these things that are happening behind the scenes with you, and they might feel off, they might feel different, and they're definitely not very car related, but I think it's the right thing to talk about because it's on my mind. And if it's on my mind right now as we're fighting tooth and nail to grow these dreams, to turn them into a reality so that we can have a future together doing the thing that we want to do, which is cars and cats and give back and make some money and have some fun, then I think we should spend time talking about that together. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of pointless. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. If you didn't learn anything in this video, if there's one thing that I wish you would hear from me, it's that remember that you can do anything you set your mind to. But by setting your mind to anything, sometimes you'll forget the most important things that are right in front of you. Try to find a way, or try to find somebody who reminds you every once in a while when you're steering too far away. That can be a family member, that could be a significant other, that could be a friend, that could be a damn cat. Something to remind you that there is more to this life than just chasing a proverbial dream that you made up in your head or that you saw on the internet, and now you saw it on the internet and now you want it. Because honestly, you'd be surprised at how much your brain will reset when you go camping or when you go somewhere where there aren't all those inputs. And you might just realize that your dream is a lot more realistic and obtainable than what you initially saw on the internet. So I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe. What you're gonna see in the next videos are probably some endurance racing stuff and hopefully a jump into the MX-5 series, which I'm really excited for. But I'm Alex Martini. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.